to be able to raise their hand.
They're on,
Possibly.
they're not on camera, they're on phone, right?
I'm not sure. I think so, because it was a number. To be able to raise their hand.
They're on,
Possibly.
they're not on camera.
You have to accept that. Okay, so you David, and then you got a phone call, and they're muted.
Okay, that's perfect.
Okay, and to deal with them, you need to
You
have
might want to leave us right now. Okay, guys, IT has put us out there live on YouTube now. We do have one person from the general public that you will see out there that during public comment at the end, we'll ask them to raise their hand if they'd like to state anything or ask any questions. So you guys are more than welcome to begin now. You can unmute yourselves if you'd like to. So we can call the meeting to order. I have 10:03 a.m. right now. And I don't have a flag, so for the Pledge of Allegiance. Do we stand for the Pledge of, oh, we'll all look at Steve. Okay, that'll work. If everyone wants to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, we have to do it, so. Okay. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Can everybody hear right now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
There you go, Steve. Okay.
Better this way.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and take roll call. David Barberry, prosecuting attorney.
Here.
Stephen Pickens, treasurer.
Here,
Andy Lux here. Michael Heitman, chair of the Democratic Party.
Here.
Brian Rush, chair of the Republican Party.
Here.
All right, we have all present. And Dave, I'm going to let you take over on this part right now in regards to the materials for this meeting.
Very well. As we speak, I'm going to send out a copy of the memorandum that was prepared that goes over and describes the process of the apportionment committee, some general guidelines to help us guide us through this process. And at that time, in fact, if you would like, Mindy, I can just kind of go through and read the memorandum that I prepared, go over the procedure and talk about the different obligations that we have. And then I will disseminate that via email to everyone. The procedure for the apportionment of county commissioners is contained in Public Act 261 of 1966, as amended being found in MCL 46.401 at SEC. This memorandum will follow the sections of the statute and outlining the various functions of the commission and their responsibilities. Section 1 of the Apportionment Act provides that within 60 days after the publication of the decennial census figures, the Apportionment Commission shall apportion the county into not less than 5, nor more than 21 commissioners. This number is found in Section 2 of the Act, which applies to counties with a population of 50,001 to 600,000, or essentially 50,001 to and over, I'm sorry. This plan must be filed with the county clerk, who is a member of the Apportionment Commission, with the Secretary of State's office within the 60-day period. The only exception under law is the filing of an extension with the Michigan Court of Appeals upon a showing of good cause. The official publication date for the 2020 census is anticipated to be in September. Consequently, we will have until sometime 60 days after to file a plan. Section 3 of the Act establishes the composition for the County Apportionment Commission. According to law, the Apportionment Commission consists of the county clerk, treasurer, prosecuting attorney, and the statutory chairpersons for each of the two political parties receiving the greatest number of votes cast for the office of Secretary of State in the last preceding general election. In our particular case, it will be the chairpersons for the Democratic and Republican parties. Section 3 further provides the county clerk is responsible for convening the Apportionment Commission and giving proper notice under the Open Meetings Act, which applies to the commission. The Freedom of Information Act also applies to any papers and documents generated by the Apportionment Commission. Section 3 also states that 3 members of the commission shall constitute a quorum sufficient to conduct business, but that any action taken by the commission shall be by majority vote of the commission and not by a majority of the quorum. Thus, for any vote of the commission, it would require 3 members. The guidelines for apportionment are as follows. Section 4 of the Act contains specific guidelines to be applied in apportioning the county into various commissions or districts. The following 8 factors are provided. All districts shall be single-member districts and as nearly of equal population as is practicable. It must be contiguous, compact, and nearly square-shaped as practicable. Townships shall not be combined with the cities unless combination is needed to meet the population standard. Township, villages, and cities shall be divided only if necessary to meet the population standard. Precincts shall be divided only if necessary to meet the population standard. Residents of state institutions who cannot vote are excluded in drawing districts, and districts shall not be drawn to affect partisan political advantage or what is called gerrymandering. Case law in the state of Michigan has further held that county apportionment plans may have a divergence of no more than 11.9% from the highest district population to the lowest. And then some case law is included, but although equal population within the deviation stated above is a prime consideration, all of the factors are important for a sound apportionment plan. For reference, our 1991 plan contained a population deviation of 8.5%. The 2001 plan contained a population deviation of 10.6%. And at the time I prepared this, I was not able to locate the deviation standard for the 2011 plan. Objection and appeal of apportionment plan. Section 6 of the Act provides that any registered voter of the county may petition the Court of Appeals for a review of the plan within 30 days of the date it is filed with the county clerk's office. Any objections filed along that line will have to attack one of the 8 criteria enumerated above as a basis for showing that the plan as a whole does not meet constitutional standards. Voter plans. Section 7 of the Act authorizes the County Apportionment Commission to obtain additional time to complete an apportionment plan for the Court of Appeals upon showing of good cause, where the county's plan is not completed within the 60 days allotted under Section 1 of the Act. After the expiration of the first 30 days and within any additional time granted by the Court of Appeals, any registered voter of the county may submit a plan to the Apportionment Commission for its approval, provided that the commission has not already filed a plan with the county clerk. Thus, if we are unable to complete our task on time or within any extensions granted by the Court of Appeals, any registered voter could submit a plan for consideration by the Apportionment Commission. Finally, Section 8 of the Act provides that an apportionment plan becomes official once all appeals have been exhausted or if no appeal is taken. When the time for taking an appeal has expired, after filing 30 days after filing with the county clerk, the plan is then official for the particular county until the U.S. official decennial census figures become available. It is my hope that the legal issues outlined in this memorandum will assist us in the performance of our duty as a member of the 2021 Isabella County Apportionment Commission. I anticipate the county clerk will be notifying you shortly of the scheduling of an organizational meeting, which we've already done. And that is the conclusion.
Thank you, Dave. Anybody have any questions on that Dave just went over?
Nope.
Next thing on the agenda, we have election of the permanent committee chairperson. So opening it up for nomination.
I'd nominate David. If David's willing.
I'll make a second to that.
I think I heard him say he's willing, so.
Okay.
Yeah,
Are you
I
willing,
I
David?
would accept that nomination.
Since you have all the legal knowledge back there, I think that might help us out a lot. Okay, so I have a nomination and a second. Anybody oppose? Seeing none, motion carried. So Dave, we'll have you as chairperson. Election of a permanent committee secretary.
I would nominate Mindy Lux.
I would second that.
Great. Writing everything down here. Okay, I accept. And is everyone okay with that?
I'm good.
Good.
Motion carried on that. Now, next is to adopt the procedural guidelines. Basically, what David went over is the guidelines that we must follow. So basically, I need a motion to accept them.
So moved.
Second.
Who moved? Was it Brian? Okay. Brian and Steve. Okay. And I will let you take over from here, David.
Well, discussing the per diem for a meeting attendance. I obviously have not sat on one of these boards prior. So I would, if anyone has, I'm not sure what the per diem for a meeting attendance would be in this scenario.
Well, the last times 3 I've sat in, it's been $10,000 a meeting.
So moved.
No,
I don't think I have that in my budget.
no, there hasn't been any per diems before, but
I'll
I
withdraw my motion.
I'm gonna tell you, it's a lot of work. It is a lot of work.
Per diem is $25 a day. And currently I have a budget of 200 in there. And if need be, we can allocate more funds.
Are there any other expenses that would need that budget?
That would be the mapping software budget. And in 2011, they went to the Board of Commissioners and the Board of Commissioners allocated $5,000 to cover any mapping software. And the mapping software is kind of where we need to discuss. I sent you all the information now that the state has a free, what is it? A free CCD tool. It shows the 2020 census blocks, demographic data, ability to create multiple plans for evaluation purposes with population and other evaluation criteria, ability to finalize plan and create descriptions and maps needed for final reporting, and the ability to export final shape file for use in other application and maps. So that's out there for discussion, or if you guys want to go like they did in 2011, they purchased a mapping software and it was $1,000. You just tell me what you guys would like to do. The only things that I see an issue with the state is they are going to say that this will be ready at a certain time and then it's not ready. It's totally up to you guys, whatever you guys decide.
Sure.
Okay,
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, David.
Well, I just wanted to make sure that we were, before we got to item 9, that we were, as far as the per diem goes, are we in agreement then that there won't be any per diem?
I think she said it's $25 a meeting.
Okay,
I think that's what it was before too.
okay.
But believe me, you're gonna earn the $25.
Well, I understand.
Yeah, it's pretty complicated.
Can we get a vote on the per diem then being the $25? Or motion, I'm sorry.
I vote yes.
Okay.
I'll second that.
My only point of discussion was if there's a budget right now for $200 that the per diem would be taken out of, are there any other, besides the mapping software, are there any other needs that this committee would need to purchase that would need to come out of that $200 specifically?
That would probably be a different line item, Brian, and we go to the board for.
Just
And
making sure.
they've been very accommodating in the past.
Okay.
To make up for any costs that we do have.
So I believe we're at a second. We've got support from Mindy. And want to take a vote on that then? Anyone opposed? Okay, so per diem will be set at $25 per meeting. And now moving on to the discussing the mapping software. As Mindy indicated, it sounds like we have this software that's out there that's being generated by the state or produced to us free of charge. From my perspective, I share the same concerns that Mindy does. My only concern would be is whether the software is in fact ready for use on September 1, as they've indicated. It says that their goal is to have this tool available for county use on September 1, 2021. Do we think that we should explore another option in the event that it becomes apparent that that may not be ready on September 20 or September 1, 2021?
I just know the last time that we used an outside vendor software, it worked very, very well. Okay, but what Mindy described as the state's software kind of takes into effect all the things that other software had. So I guess the only question I have is the same as yours, is the timing issue.
I have to imagine that many counties are relying on that software to be made available to them. So I would assume that it will deliver, but at the same time, we are relying on the state at that point to make sure that they produce on time. And, it's been kind of a complicated year and a half at the state level. So I don't know what to expect in that regard. Any other discussion on that? Anyone else want to offer any thoughts?
Yeah, Mindy, do you know if this is the same software that the state redistricting committee is using?
I'm not sure. It does not state that in it. It just says this is a brand new web-based CCD tool. They don't state if that's what they're going to be using at the state level. I can always ask David Tarrant. He's in charge at the state, and I have his phone number to ask him on that. A backup could be that if you all agree that we go out and we can get some quotes from some mapping software companies and have them as a backup in case we see that the state's not going to pull through. And we could give a deadline to which maybe, I don't know, August 15th or something like that, to allocate enough time for us to utilize this other software if need be. I don't mind going out for the bids. It's all up to you guys as a backup. Not saying we have to purchase it.
Sure.
I like that idea.
I mean, I think everyone would agree that if we have a free software that's going to do everything we need, that would be the obvious choice. And especially like Michael said, if this is what the state's using, it's obviously going to be sound, and they're going to do due diligence hopefully on their end. So it would be ideal to use a software that's being utilized by the state for their redistricting, as well as the fact that it's free. It seems kind of silly to spend money that's unnecessary, but at the same time, we don't want to be caught flat-footed with a short time frame to try to produce our maps.
And a lot, excuse me, a lot of times when you go out and ask for bids on some of the software, they're going to tell you the differences between theirs and what the state's going to offer as well. So it might give us a better idea for free kind of thing.
Do you want to give me a deadline for this software? So once I get everything in, I can have another meeting for us to present everything to you guys?
Do you think the August 15th date that you suggested will give you enough time?
I'm gonna talk to, because I've had tons of emails from different software companies already. I could talk to, how many do you want me to go out to?
A couple.
Just 2 or 3 or?
Yeah.
Probably 3.
Okay. 2 or 3. And then that will be one of my questions. I'll ask them commitment wise, how much time do we have? September 30th is the deadline for the state to get us the census numbers. So I'll just throw it out there to them around August 15th if that would be doable to the software companies. Because that gives me at least to like 1st of July around then to get the bids, and maybe we can have a meeting in July and look it all over to decide which one we want to go with if the state doesn't allocate it back to us to have the software done in time.
Sounds reasonable.
I think so as well.
Sounds reasonable, but the only problem we're gonna run into is we're not gonna know if the state's gonna produce their software until, you know, the September 1st date's gonna come and go, and then they're gonna say it's gonna be in a week, and then they're gonna say it's gonna be in another week. And so making a decision prior to that is gonna be a difficult one to make, but I think it's the only thing we can do.
Yeah, I think we'll need to look for when they start testing out the software and just how close to that September deadline that they'll start testing it out. And if we, if we start looking by beginning of August for other vendors just to make sure, I think that'll give us plenty of time to make a decision on this.
Yeah,
And I'll put in a call to David Tarrant too, just to keep following up with him to see how things are going with it and see if there's any problems that they foresee. And also if that's what they're utilizing for this, for the state too.
very well. So Mindy, do we need a motion then to seek
Yes,
proposals? Okay, so I'll make a motion then to, or if I can get a motion, I should say, to seek 3.
I'll make that motion.
Should we include in, I'm sorry, I would second it, but should we include in that maybe going to the board with a preliminary request for funds, or should we wait to see what they're going to cost first before we do that? I would just have to wait. I wouldn't want to wait till August and then find out that we got to do a hurry up to the board and get another extra 1,000 or 1,500, whatever it's going to cost.
Sure.
we could do like they did in 2011 where they just had a flat 5,000 requested. And if we have up to 5,000, it only cost 1,000 in
Right.
2011 for their software. But I think that kind of gives us room. And of course, if we don't use it, then it
Sure.
just goes back to general fund.
I'm sure we're going to be very prudent with our use. So
Right.
maybe we include that in your motion. Would that be possible?
Yes, I will include that in the motion.
And then I would second it.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
And seeing none opposed, motion carries. All right, so that brings us to agenda item 10, public comment.
Currently, we do not have any public out there, but if somebody would like to call in utilizing the phone numbers that we listed out there, they can and raise their hand. We can give a minute right now, just in case someone wants to get on and ask any questions. I still don't have anyone requesting to come in yet.
Do we have any ideas on population change or anything? Just off the cuff while we're waiting.
Nothing. I mean, you can't even go off from voter numbers because that changes daily. Okay, the minute has expired.
Very well. Seeing no public comment, moving on. Item number 11, can we get a motion to adjourn?
Do we want to set first before we adjourn our next meeting, or do you want me to email you guys once I get the information and set a meeting off from whatever information I get from the mapping software companies?
I think that'd be better for me, just personally, to have a more of an idea of what my schedule is going to be like closer to that time.
Okay. Will do.
Can I get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the
We all
motion.
like this meeting.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All right.
I would
So moved.
second.
Okay.
We are adjourned until our next meeting. I
Okay.
will disseminate those materials immediately and get those out to you guys for review. If you have any questions on anything I sent out, don't hesitate to reach out to me.
Thanks, Dave.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
See ya.
Take care.